Well, brothers and sisters, we are going to do a food for thought continuation with Star Trek. This is a class. This is the very beginning of Star Trek Into Darkness. Okay, it says pranking the natives. Well, aren't we the natives on our planet? Food for thought. Doesn't this look like it would be maybe a star fort? I mean, it's kind of squared. It's, you know, like a temple. It's got a point here, and we've got these lines coming to it like a star fort. Just food for thought. And shortly thereafter, look at this. We've got octagon stones that the people are running on. Octagons. Isn't that something? Or not octagons, excuse me, hexagons. It's a six-pointed star, like the Star of David. And even the bushes, they kind of look like stars when you're looking down from the top. Interesting. Now here he's running, Kirk and Bones are running away from the temple, okay, and it shows the volcano, and this is where Spock is. Spock is inside the volcano, and Kirk actually took off holding onto some kind of a scroll that the natives were bowing to. Okay, these native peoples were bowing to this scroll for some reason, but just wait. Okay, now actually Spock is actually getting suited up, getting ready to drop inside of the volcano. Okay, now this is very comical. I love this film.
The indigenous life forms see you.
No, Mr. Spock, they did not.
The Prime Directive clearly states there can be no interference with the internal development of alien civilization.
Oh, no, it says...
Now, did you hear that? We are the indigenous species. That's why they've been hiding from us, because we're indigenous. What do we do as indigenous species? We worship symbolism. Symbolic. Symbolism will be their downfall. Think about it for a minute. So here we are. They just dropped Spock into the volcano. Okay, think about this again. Volcano, eruption. What's going on? Oh, come on. This is really going to be annoying. Oh, sure. It's just going to sit here and do this the whole time. Oh, annoying. Here he goes. Now listen.
This position. Spock, I gotta pull you back up.
Negative. This is our only chance to save this species.
If this volcano erupts, the planet dies. Pull him back up.
If it goes off, the planet dies. So Kirk puts the scroll up here in the tree and it rolls down. Notice how it's got wings? And these people start coming over and they just start bowing up and down and they're worshiping this scroll. Indigenous species, right? Notice how they're white? Caucasian, white, wearing yellow, like our sun? Now Kirk and Bones jumped off the top of a cliff down into the water where the Enterprise is waiting for them underwater. How many of us have heard about UFOs being underwater? Now Spock has gone ahead and he's activated the device. It's counting down, and what it does, it's going to make this volcano inert. Okay, but the only way that they can get him out is for the Enterprise to come up out of the water, beam him out from above the volcano, and take off. But if they do that, then the indigenous will see him. So he is actually told everybody, no, don't you do that. You know, the goods or the well-being of the many outweigh the needs of the few, being himself. So he's literally accepting his fate as dying inside of this volcano to save the indigenous species from, becoming more intelligent and being able to grow, or to, ascend, to become higher beings of consciousness. Now here it is, one of the indigenous people, they're holding up the scroll that they're all bowing down to. Okay, notice how they all have wings on them? Now hopefully this will actually play without screwing up. And they hear something because, remember, they chased Kirk and Bones to the cliff where they jumped into the water. Oh, and look at that. A UFO coming up out of the water. How many times have we seen or heard about that? And the indigenous species, what are they doing? They're freaking out, like mankind. Eyes wide open, like, oh my gosh, what is this? They're in awe. Some of them are panicking and freaking out. They're leaving, they're running, they're scared. Just like the majority of peoples would. Especially those that are not awake. Now, this is what he's talking about with the indigenous and what they do with symbolism. Now watch. What are they doing? They just threw down their scroll. They threw down their old gods. And now, look at this. They have a new god to worship. They're worshiping the symbol of what they saw, their gods. Is it starting to make sense, folks? Next clip, it shows us Earth, London, 2259.55. Hey, London, y'all are going to be getting an upgrade. Kudos for that, right? But this is Starfleet Command. It's in London. Starfleet, the command's at London? Synchronicities. Is that a coincidence? Here we are. Look at this. Royal Children's Hospital. Notice how it's Tartarian, like a star fort. Is anybody starting to see these connections here? I certainly hope so. Look at the flooring inside of the hospital. Very Masonic. Diamonds or stars. Outside of the hospital where we can see the star fort. Look right here on the bottom. This one's actually an octagon, 8-sided, inside of an octagon. And look at this. It looks like a star from the top. Look at that. It's made out of stone. And here we are. They're back on Earth, going to see Admiral Pike.
Kirk.
Watch this. Listen to what he says.
Uneventful. Admiral? It's the way you describe the survey of Nibiru in your captain's log.
Yes,
The
sir,
survey of Nibiru. Did you hear that? Their major line to listen to.
And almost got everyone under your command killed.
Except I didn't. You know how many crew members I've
There's
lost?
ego.
That's your problem. You think you're infallible. You think you can't make a mistake. It's a pattern with you. The rules are for other people.
Some should.
And what's worse is you're using blind luck to justify your playing God.
What does that sound like? What were they doing? Bowing down to the symbol of the Enterprise? Their new god? Oh yeah. Symbolism, folks. Imagine this being Enlil and this being Anu, maybe, and, there's an argument, in Starfleet Command. Ooh. Now, listen to this. They give us a lot of names in Star Trek for us to look into, and it's just brilliant. Oh.
He's on Kronos, sir.
Kronos.
I request my command be reinstated and your permission to go after him.
Kronos. Look that up, folks. Look into it. It's an ancient name.
Gone to the Klingon.
Now listen to this.
Is he defecting?
We're not sure, sir.
He has taken refuge in the Ketha province, a region uninhabited for
He's got to be
decades.
hiding there, sir. He knows if we even go near Klingon space, it'd be all-out war.
Klingons,
He can't go after
warbirds
him.
of prey. I've been showing you guys. Now listen.
All-out war with the Klingons is inevitable, Mr. Kirk. If you ask me, it's already begun. Since we first learned of their existence, the Klingon Empire has conquered and occupied 2 planets that we know of,
Conquered
fired on our
2
ships
planets.
half a dozen times.
Yes. It's really going
They're coming
down.
our way.
Now I want everybody to pay attention here. I've been showing you guys this. This is awesome. Warp speed. Look at this. La 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 la. Right up behind him. Warp signature trail. I'm loving it.
Attention.
Now Kirk is going to Kronos and they're being shot at by a... Look at this. It's not quite the Klingon warbird of prey, but you get the idea. Wings, a head, the tail. And here are those coordinates, like I was showing you about in the previous video. Jupiter. And there's Scotty. Going around the moon Phobos. Been in the news a lot lately, folks. He's hugging close to it. And what does he see? A gigantic space station. Fun stuff.
Try to revive him without the proper
Watch this.
frequency. Could kill him. This technology is beyond me.
How advanced, Doctor?
It's not advanced. That cryotube is ancient.
Ancient
We haven't needed to freeze anyone
cryotubes.
since we developed warp capability, which explains most interesting things.
Anunnaki. Crystal
He's 300 years old.
hibernation chambers. Anunnaki. Sound familiar? The giants? Here we're at the scene where Spock is talking to Spock.
in the future, you know, in the older Spock. But you see how everything's pixelated and it's kind of warped? Well, think about it. Looking Glass, you would actually get that.
I have made a vow never to give you information that could potentially alter your destiny.
These are wise words.
Your path is yours to walk, and yours alone. That being
But
said,
listen to this.
Khan Noonien Singh is the most dangerous adversary the Enterprise ever faced. He is brilliant, ruthless, and he will not hesitate to kill every single one of you.
And then here comes a question of questions between young Spock and the old Spock. Now the old Spock is, of course, from the original series that we've seen, but he is from another dimension. The old Spock went through space and time to a different dimension, and that's why he's in their dimension. Interdimensional travel. Now listen.
Did you defeat him?
Did you defeat Khan?
At great cost.
At great
Yes.
cost. To defeat those that are conning us is going to come at great cost, because so many people are going for the con.
And now here's a scene where the Starship Enterprise was struck, and it's actually falling to the Earth because it's stuck in the Earth's gravitational pull. Now imagine a ship that's been shot to bits, and all the pieces are coming down to the Earth. What is it going to look like? It's going to look like meteors. Remember the meteor that I showed you guys the other day? It was breaking up, and you had all those different pieces coming off of it. Isn't that what this would look like if it was coming into the Earth's atmosphere? It'd have all kinds of pieces coming off of it, you know, all coming from the same direction. I mean, you got all these weak points. Everything would start breaking off, and it'd be burning up in the atmosphere. Yeah, it would look like a meteor coming down. I wonder. Now, if we take a look at this and think about the Looking Glass, you know how it had those arms that kind of came up over like this? Kind of came. Look at this. It almost kind of looks like a Looking Glass. Now, here Jim is actually going to try and realign the core so that way they can get power to the ship. And here's what I was talking about. It's starting to come in the atmosphere, pieces are starting to fall off, and they're burning up. Just like a meteor. And here we're looking at a scene of where Kirk, he went into the reactor to align it, right? Well, the radiation poisoning is slowly killing him. He is slowly dying. This is a scene actually in the original movie. It was reversed. Spock was actually the one that was inside that cleaned up the core, and Kirk was on the outside. But in this one, they actually reversed the roles. But the whole point is that he's being poisoned to death with radiation, and he's dying. Kind of like air quality, plasma, the stuff I've been showing you guys. Now, in this scene, Khan is on the ship called Vengeance, and he's set it because it was crashing. It was coming to the Earth. It was going to crash to the Earth as well. He set it for London to take London out, which is where Starfleet headquarters is, like a rod of God falling from the sky, taking out London. London Bridge is falling down. Just a thought. Now in this next scene here is a dead creature, and Bones actually took a blood sample from Khan because he has his body regenerates itself at a very rapid, alarming pace. So what he did is he actually took the blood from Khan and injected it into this dead being. And guess what happens? The being, this little creature, showing regenerative properties to rejuvenate and restore life itself. And of course, they take it and they put it into Kirk to revive Kirk. Sound like medbeds? Interesting stuff going on, don't you think?
Come here, quiet!
In this next part, we actually look at some craft that look like TR-3Bs. Going right overhead. Look at that. Zoom! Doesn't that look like a TR-3B?
Our first instinct.
So this is the end of the movie, folks.
Those we love.
So the point is, they've been telling us about this stuff for a long, long time. I mean, 3 stars. Star forts, stars. Look at the insignia of the wheat tears. Remember, folks, they tell us everywhere, but love is the only way forward. Have a good night.